In this video, I make what I like to call the Cubtastic bow, which is a bow made out of PVC and paracord and can shoot homemade arrows very far. This is going to be a two-part video. This bow is for playing tag, and the arrows are also going to be for playing archery tag. I will show you how to make the arrows in a different video, and in a third video I'm also going to show you how to make an arm guard. To start off this project, we're going to need some conduit PVC pipe, which is the gray PVC pipe. The difference between the white and the gray is that this is meant to be buried. Not meant to be buried. So it's more sunlight resistant. And now I'm going to cut it to 5 feet in length with a hacksaw. You normally get them in 10-foot rods, so you can get 2 bows from 1 rod. Now that I've cut my PVC, it's flexible, but it doesn't have very much spring to it, which is what we need. So now I'm going to get some fiberglass driveway markers and set out the setup, which are these rods you can get at most home improvement stores. They're made out of fiberglass, and you put them next to your driveway normally, and they're very springy, and that's what we're going to be using to give our bow its power. So what you need to do is you need to get 1 rod that is 72 inches long, which is 6 feet, and you want to cut it to 5 feet long. Then you want to get a 48-inch rod, which is 4 feet, and you want to cut it in half. Then you want another 48-inch rod and just keep it like it is. So this one is done. We don't need to modify that at all. We're going to cut this one in half. We're going to cut this one down to 5 feet. I've now measured and marked each fiberglass rod that we need to cut. And what you want to do is you want to get some duct tape before you cut it, because it will start to splinter when you cut it. Cut the fiberglass. This fiberglass will splinter, so to reduce that, we're going to put some duct tape around the mark so it doesn't splinter as much. So you just want to get a nice long-ish piece of duct tape and just put it on it, right where we need to cut it. You're going to do it with both rods, which is fairly easy to do. There's one. Find the mark on this one. Get some duct tape. Put it around. Now there's one more modification you need to make to the longest rod. You need to cut 2 inches off, because you want it to be 1 inch short of each end of the PVC. Now that we have all the rods cut, we're going to want to line up all the centers so we can put it in the PVC. Centers lined up, you're going to want to tape it all together. So it will not come apart when it's inside the bow. PVC. Just want to get a nice long strip of duct tape and wrap it around these pieces. Now that we've done that, we have a nice springy rod that's going to go inside our 5 feet of conduit PVC. The reason we're doing this is just because this doesn't have enough power. And another thing to worry about when you're wrapping it is you don't want to use too much, because too much tape will give it too much bulk. And if it has too much bulk, it won't slide into the PVC. Now that we've put the driveway markers inside the PVC, it's nice and springy, but it won't hold a string yet. So what you want to do is you want to put some angled lines, some semicircle lines where you're going to file using a metal file 1.5 inches from the end, so we can carve those out to hold the string. Now that I've done that, I have this curved line right here and a curved line right there. This is what we're going to file with our metal file so it can hold a string. And I will be right back after I do that. I've finished filing out the channels that the bowstring is going to go into, and you want to make them deep enough that the string won't slide out, but you also want to make them shallow enough that it won't cut through the PVC if you pull it too far back, and to try to make them as symmetrical as possible so the bowstring doesn't twist or anything. Now that I've done that, I'm going to get some paracord. I have this camo paracord with me right now, and I'm going to tie a figure 8 knot on one end. There's 500,000 tutorials on YouTube on how to tie a figure 8 knot, so I'm not going to explain it. But you just tie a figure 8 knot with a loop, so you can fit it over with a loop like that, so you can fit it over the PVC and see if it's deep enough. And that is the string. That's the type of knot we're going to be using. Now that I've tied the figure 8 knot, I'm going to put it on top of in the notch that I filed out, and I'm going to flip it over upside down, the PVC up over, so I can figure out how long the string for the other side should be. And you don't, when you're using your bow, you don't want it to straighten out when you're using it. You always want it to have a slight curve. So be wary of that. Once you have the grooves marked with the string in it, you want to grab some scissors and cut the paracord with a little bit extra, and then melt the ends so it doesn't fray. So you want to get your scissors on each end and just cut the extra. And you want to make sure that it doesn't have too much, that it doesn't bend straight when you're finished with it. You want it to be slightly curved like this. And then once you've done that, you can decorate it, paint it, whatever you want. But once you're done, every time you need to take off the top. You need to take off the string because the PVC and the fiberglass will actually start to bend, and you'll lose a lot of power if you don't take it off. So just take it off every time you aren't actively using it. And to give it a little extra strength, put some duct tape around the string. Gives it some extra strength. And when you're shooting it, make an arm guard. So when you pull back like this, it'll hit right here sometimes on your arm. So if you make something out of foam or leather, and if you make something out of foam or leather, that will protect your hand. This is what I'm going to be doing for today. And in my next video, I'm going to show you how to make some person-safe arrows that you can shoot with this. And I'll see you next time on Cubby Creates.